Hello and welcome to this week's Facebook Live with me, Louisa Whitney of LKW Family Mediation. And firstly, I just wanted to say I really hope that I'm not going to have a coughing fit during this live broadcast. Unfortunately, I have been suffering with a cold, as I think a lot of people have at this time of year. So hopefully that won't happen. Bear with me, I'm just checking something that I meant to before the broadcast. So what I'm going to say is that next week I'm going to have somebody with me on the Facebook Live, which I'm really excited about. There will be a new a new blog post going up on Monday, and then I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live on Friday as normal, back to the normal time of 12 o'clock. But the blog on Monday is going to be done by Karen Marshall, who is a relationship expert and a coach who specialises in helping those going through separation or divorce or contemplating it, and focuses on their well-being and their mind and body as part of that. So I'm really excited to talk to Karen more about her work. Her website, if you want to get a bit of a preview, is lovecoachingyou.com. And as I say, the blog post will be up live on Monday, and then Karen and I will be doing a joint Facebook Live next Friday. The other thing that I wanted to say is that if you haven't already, if you're a professional that works with couples who are separating, then please check out the 2019 training program that's now live on the website, www.lkwfamilymediation.co.uk. And that's got all the courses coming up and the networking events that I've mentioned before, which are designed to get those who work with couples who are separating in the same room, so that we can learn more about each other's work and what we do, so that we can provide the best services possible to those people that are going through a separation or divorce. So in today's Facebook Live, I'm talking about, should we stay together for the kids? And this is something that I think is a subject that people often have quite strong opinions about. You know, both those going through a separation and those that haven't experienced a separation, people just have strong views on this as a topic. And I think what I wanted to really say at the outset is that there is not a right or a wrong answer. It's not wrong to stay together for the benefit of your children or wrong to separate. It's really about giving thought to your situation and what is best. And one of the things that I talk about a lot in mediation is the importance of making informed choices about the right way forward for you and your family. And what's right for you and your family is not necessarily right for another family down the road or 100 miles away or in a different country. It's very much an individual thing. And what I do is help people to look at how they can inform themselves and what support they need to enable them to make decisions about what happens next. So this question of should we stay together for the kids is something that I would approach in that same way. And if you've read the blog post that I've put up a link to, then I talked about different things in that blog post. And sort of the purpose of this is not to kind of rehash that blog post, but to talk a bit more detail about things that you might want to think about. And I think whether you stay together for your children kind of depends on the state of the relationship, because I see people in a wide variety of situations. There are people who still get on together and have a strong friendship, but they just don't feel the same way about each other anymore. But there isn't necessarily animosity or bad feeling or conflict. There is just an acceptance and maybe a sadness that they have grown apart, that they are different people, and that really, you know, while they might be friends, they are no longer going to be husband and wife or partners. And then sort of at the opposite end of the extreme, there is people who have really got very strong negative feelings towards each other. And there are maybe lots of arguments because feelings are running very high about how each person feels the other person's behaved. So as a child, you will have very different experiences of those relationships. where your parents are not involved in heated debates or anything like that. You may pick up on a sadness. You may see that they are constructive in the way that they talk to each other, and you may well still feel that you are part of a family unit that functions very well and is a close and loving family. If you are a child whose parents have explosive arguments and you are either witnessing those, or what sometimes happens is that parents do this away from the child downstairs, but children can still hear the arguments and usually are aware of the kind of tension that is running through the house. So as children of those different relationships, there is going to be very different experiences of those relationships. And I think that's really important to bear in mind when you are looking at this question. So if you're someone that's thinking, oh, should we stay together for the kids? The first thing is to ask yourself honestly what you think your children's experience of your relationship is. Are they being exposed to conflict, or are they part of a loving and close-knit family? And as I'm saying that, I don't mean that an explosive relationship isn't a loving and close-knit family. What I mean is, are children being exposed to conflict during their family life? Because for most children, it is the conflict that causes difficulties and upset and changes in behaviour, because they feel conflicted, because they feel that they are half of mum and half of dad, and if dad hates mum and mum hates dad, then what does that mean for them? So that's really the point that I'm trying to get at in considering the relationship. The other point that I made in the blog is, if this relationship is your children's earliest experiences is one of your children's earliest experiences of what a relationship looks like, is it a good thing? Is that something that you feel comfortable with? And the answer to that may well be yes. We're respectful of each other. We work together to get done what needs to be done, to care for our children, to make decisions for our children. And again, there isn't a right or wrong way. It's just something to consider in terms of, do we feel that this relationship is a good model of an adult relationship to our children? The last thing that I really wanted to go into in this Facebook Live is, if you feel that you are going over this question in your mind about should we stay together for the kids, what do you do? If you have thought this on a few occasions, then clearly something is not right in your relationship, and you may be thinking, should we separate? Should we stay together? And that can often be a decision that people go back and forth on for a very, very long period of time. I've seen people that have been back and forth on that question for over 10 years. So what can you do if you feel you're in that situation? Firstly, I would say, well done for the kind of honesty. It sounds a bit patronising, but I think often where there are difficult questions and things that people feel uncomfortable with, the temptation is to kind of put them out of your mind or not really deal with them. So actually acknowledging that you feel that way and that it's something that you need to consider is a step that is maybe underestimated in its importance. Seeing a problem, acknowledging a problem is a really important first step. Secondly, it may be helpful for you to speak to somebody to get some support with the situation. So that might be your GP if you feel that you are struggling with the situation, or that maybe you don't feel quite right in yourself, or that you're worried you're being affected by it, all of those kind of things. The next step is to have a conversation with the other person if you feel able to do that. Do they feel the same way? Sometimes they may feel that something's wrong too, or other times they may have been unaware that there was anything wrong or that the other person was unhappy. And it's only by talking to somebody that you can understand whether there is a willingness to engage and to deal with that issue together. If you feel that you both want to work to address the issues, then seeing a relationship counsellor may be a really helpful way forward, because it's a safe space with a trained individual who can work with you in a supported way to help you to identify the issues that you're both talking about and to find a way forward and to really focus in on the needs of your children. If your partner is not willing to attend a relationship counsellor, then you may want to consider whether that's something that you do on your own so that you can have somebody to talk to who is sympathetic, empathetic, trained to deal with these situations, and so that they can help you kind of talk through decisions and make a decision about what is going to be the right way forward for you and your children. One of the reasons why people can sometimes delay making a decision about whether they would be better off separating is fear around what will happen and whether they will be able to make ends meet and where they might live. So sometimes going and having some preliminary advice from a lawyer can be helpful in alleviating any fears you might have about ending up homeless or destitute or any of those kind of things. Often there is a narrative that people have about ending relationships, which can come from childhood or which can come from things they've been told by friends, or it can be things that their partner has told them during the course of the relationship that suggests that there may well be very bad consequences for ending a relationship. So understanding what the consequences of ending that relationship might be and what the likely outcome might be and what things you need to bear in mind, it can be really useful in helping you to make that decision. In all of this, the first thought is, I'm sure for everybody, what is best for my children? And it's only by weighing up what the different factors are and what, sometimes people approach decisions by making a list of pros and cons for each side. Sometimes people are more instinctive decision makers and they sort of just need to get in touch with that instinct about what is right for them. It doesn't matter how you make decisions. What matters is that if you are thinking about this, you look at what may happen if you make the decision either way for both you and for your children, and look at what you need to make an informed decision about what is right for your children. So I hope that this has been a useful Facebook Live. I'm sorry that I am full of cold and a bit woolly. As I say, look out for the Facebook Live and the blog on Monday. The blog is Monday and the Facebook Live is Friday next week. As always, if you want resources to help you to manage your separation, if you're going through a separation or think you might be getting to that point, sign up for my free mailing list. And you can do that via bit.ly/LKW list. And if you're a professional that works with couples who separate, then please sign up for our professionals list, which you can find at bit.ly/LKW sign up. And have a great weekend. Thank you.